So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time. For context, you are currently the manager in Jilin Animation Institute Mental Health Center. So I'm looking forward to learning more about your leadership experience. If you're ready, let's begin with the first question.
Okay, I'm ready.
So can you describe a time when you became more self-aware of your strengths or weakness as a leader?
So I'm going to say that at this moment, actually is in my high school. I became a leader of my classes, but I'm going to answer this question in my recently experience. When I first stepped into the role of manager at our mental health center, one of the first situations I had to handle was a crisis intervention with accurate anxiety. So, for me, I used to take full control of every step. I wanted to personally manage all aspects of the response. While that hands-on approach had served me well in the past, I gradually realized that as a leader, this tendency could become a limitation. It made me reflect on the importance of delegation and trust within a team. That moment really shifted my mindset, from thinking of myself as just a counselor and to understanding that I was now responsible for leading and empowering others as well.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. So let's move to the next question about reflection and team dynamics. So how do you reflect on your leadership performance or team interactions?
So for this question, we generally hold a team meeting every month to review the projects and the counseling work from the past month. We have so many cases. I have to have some induction to the other team's members. In our center, the team operates in a relatively equal way. Like we tend to work together toward a common goal. Um, so of course, there are still certain parts where I make a final decision.
So do you feel that in most cases your team stands behind the decisions you make as a leader?
Yes, I do. In most cases, they do. But if there are different opinions, they usually bring them up during meetings or speak to me directly.
Okay, I see. So what strategies do you use to stay present and engaged during high pressure moments?
When I encounter high pressure or complex situations, I try to stay mentally grounded by first regulating my emotional state. For example, through a few minutes or of deep breathing or mindful pausing. But beyond the emotional regulation, I also apply heuristic strategies to problem solving, especially the means and analysis methods. This approach helps me break down a challenging situation into smaller sub goals and consider what concrete steps I can take to move closer to the desired outcomes. So speak simply, if there are some difficult mission I have to solve, um, I have to do one step to the other step, and finally, um, I have to to challenge this problem. Um, I can. It not only helps reduce feelings of being overwhelmed, but also keeps me focused on actionable progress. I found it especially helpful in situations where there uh, isn't a clear solution at first.
Okay. So can you share a leadership related goal you've set recently?
Yes, we've got two new interns joined our center recently, and that's the first time we've had new members comes on board since I took on manager role. So I've been paying close attention to how to help them integrate smoothly into our team.
Helping new team members integrate is definitely a key part of leadership, especially in a consulting environment, right? And have your leadership goals changed over time?
Yes, I do think so. With more experience, I've been become increasingly focused on creating a positive team environment and ensuring that our work is carried out effectively through teamwork.
That's a natural progression. Let's now move on to your leadership style more broadly. So, how would you describe a leadership style?
Personally, I would describe myself as open-minded. In our center, the relationships between colleagues are quite friendly. And I try to maintain that. But when firm decisions are needed, I am able to make timely calls, and fortunately, the teams tend to support me.
Okay, so have you ever worked under a leader with a very different style?
No, not really. I think that I've been lucky to work with people who are generally easy to get along with.
It's great that you have mostly positive experience. So, can you share an example where you used either an adaptive or transformational leadership approach? Like adaptive leadership means adjusting your approach in response to change or uncertainty, and transformational leadership is about inspiring and motivating others toward a shared vision or significant change.
I'm going to say this a tough question. Let me think. So during the COVID lockdown period, we had to shift our counseling service online, and many of our internal tasks also had to be completely online. So I worked with the head of the IT department to aid an online consultation link to our official website. Thanks to that collaboration, we were able to transition smoothly through that challenging period.
Yeah, that's a great example of a leadership under pressure. So, in what ways do you ensure inclusiveness in your leadership?
To me, the most important thing is mutual understanding and respect. In a center like ours, the nature of our work involves receiving a lot of negative emotions from others. So it's especially important for us to manage our own mental and emotional states. That's why I often focus on creating a positive team atmosphere and help regulate the team's emotional energy.
Okay, have you encountered toxic leadership, and how did you cope with it?
I would say no, or maybe I've just been lucky. Like what I said before, most of the people I've worked with, including my former leaders, they are supportive and respectful.
Yeah, it's good to hear that you've had mostly respectful work environment. So, can you share a time when you had to manage a difficult conflict in a team?
If you're gonna say conflict, I think it tend to arise when we are preparing intervention plans. For example, during discussions, team members may focus on different priorities or have differing views on what should be addressed first. In these situations, I usually listen to everyone's suggestions and then make the final decision.
Okay, so what's your typical approach to conflict?
If it's a real or serious conflict, I tend to address it as early as possible, or at least try to identify the root cause quickly. In my experience, many conflicts may appear to have faded over time, but in reality, they can become hiding risks and resurface later in more serious ways. So when it comes to general conflicts within our department, I take them seriously and aim to resolve them promptly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Addressing issues early can prevent deeper problems down the line. So, have you ever had to mediate between two team members?
Mm, I'm gonna say I'm quite fortunate that our center hasn't experienced any serious conflict so far. So most of the issues we encountered are simply differences in opinion. Depending on the situation, I usually make the final decision after hearing everyone's views.
It's great that your team hasn't faced a serious conflict. So now let's talk about emotional intelligence in conflict situations. So what role does emotional intelligence play in managing disagreements?
So emotional intelligence is very important for me. Not only as a role of consoler, also so I'm a quite leader now. I think empathy is the key. It helps me understand what the other person is saying and more importantly, how they might be feeling. That's really important when dealing with disagreements and conflicts.
Yes, yes. And have you ever changed a decision based on team feedback during conflict?
Yes, absolutely. If the suggestion is a good one, I'm more than happy to take it on board. Like as I mentioned before during our team meetings, it's quite common for useful feedback to lead to adjustments or refinement to the plans that I originally proposed. And it happens often, and I really value that kind of input.
Okay, I understand. So that's all. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and insights today. Your leadership approach, especially your focus on empathy, inclusion, and adaptability, has been really inspiring to hear. And I appreciate your time and honesty. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm also glad to join this interview.